The next talk is on how to connect to the universe. It is the idea of interconnection. The Crown Chakra is, I guess, the peak or the top of the flow we've been following. So we've arrived at the Crown Chakra, which is on the top of the head, top of the skull. And the general idea behind this, or as I'm interpreting from my teachings, is the idea of a higher awareness to the point of a universal oneness, so that everything, differences have fall aside as we move beyond, like it's like moving, zooming up into space, like on a jet or something. And as you look down, everything sort of merges into one, and we just see a blue planet in the distance. And we'd see how we're all part of the same interconnected single spirit. It's the idea that differences no longer apply, and the idea of looking for differences as a point, whether we're similar or the same, or you're different because you're not this, or I'm this because I am, doesn't apply. We're just the human idea. And even beyond that is the idea just of a combination or a binding force, and that, I guess, is always love, isn't it?
So I think, I for me, the concept is the spiritual world, and that is a reflection of our inner world. So that oneness that we have as energy, and if you look at life as being energy, and we're all energy and we're all flowing, then that becomes a oneness of molecules. So Bren and I were talking in our last break about how, we could look at the lounge chair, but it's really all about the perception of, is that a lounge chair, and getting close, that we can really break it down. It's quite really interesting when you start to see things as a flow, as energy, as interconnectedness, as universal love, and one love. I mean, what song came in my mind? I had a song that came up, Choose Love, and I was thinking of George Michael.
Oh, right, Choose Life.
Choose Life.
Yeah.
I changed the words and I said Choose Life.
Well, there's One by U2.
That's a good song.
It's that idea of the ring, of the cycle of everything being connected and not integrated. Like when nothing is fractured or nothing is not connected, there's no loose ends. Even if something's broken, it's still part of a duality or a bigger whole. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. And personally for you, where your stage you're at now can seem fractured or broken or overwhelmed or lost, but it's still part of that big dynamic organism, isn't it, of the universe. And it's not as though you're alone, even though you might feel alone. You're part of us, and we're all here together at this time, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that for others and for people that are, in situations like what we're talking about, we've been in those situations.
Yeah,
every day we're learning. So the point is that we have to be in empathy with each other. And that way we're allowing divinity, no matter what you want to call it, the divinity to work in and through us. So if we are working with our higher self and our universal connection as an energy, then we are tapping into being of service to others. I've talked about it a few times. And we're tapping into the empathy for all. And we're tapping into the one love idea and the connectiveness. And, when we meditate, we're doing a lot of white light, and we're doing a lot of, indigo or purple. And, it's up to you how you see it. But, I actually, when I wrote it down, I wrote something about having a sober spirit.
Oh, wow.
Basically what came to me, and I thought, that's how I see it. If we are sober in spirit, then, we feel and see these universal vibration levels of divinity. And we talked about how, it's such a flow, how do we talk about what the Crown Chakra is doing? Like, how do we talk about connecting with the universe and not make it all sound like,
yeah, it's said, keep it real and keep it connected to it every day. For me, that means not having this inaccessible, having this, again, something that's in reach. So it's not kept behind church walls, or it's not part of the Catholic Church or the Islamic Muslim faith or Hinduism or Buddhism. It's not owned or kept separate from us. It's with us at all times. Okay, it's not branded. It's not only achieved if you say prayers or you forgive your sins or things like that. this universal oneness is with us at all times, and it's another way we can connect with another chakra, okay? It's another way we can connect with ourselves, and another way of knowing, another way of sensing, another way of awareness. And you might feel a warmth up there, and it's a soft part of your skull. And as we remember,
pineal gland. Our
skull is so soft, is like made of these sort of pieces that with each breath they move like and expand. Like this, it's still, even in adulthood, it still moves with your breath, and with like it's still a living part of it. It's not a fixed skull. So knowing that, and knowing it's not fixed either in our thoughts, and we're open to change, and the universe is so just huge and massive that there are unlimited options. That's what I'm saying. It's not ever closed, or it's not ever over, or it's not ever finally decided that this is your lot and this is it. Like that resignation or that hopelessness is never there, because there's so much opportunity and potential, regardless of the economy or your stage of life or your financial situation. The potential is limitless if you're willing to take responsibility and do the work and drive some change in your personal life, and accept transformation as one of your sort of top 3 personal priorities, which is that's part of the life coaching modality, is to see things as everything's the same.
Interconnected, interwoven.
It's having that perspective of seeing from a distance, everything blurs into one, and it's not as if the details actually matter. And it comes back, there's a great coaching sort of idea of not worrying about the how, and just when you focus on a goal, and when you sort of set an intention around a goal, and you start manifesting that and build some affirmations into that and make it part of your thought process and really genuinely believe in it, it can become more, it's brought to life through the universe. And that's one of the laws of abundance, the law of attraction, the Secret movie. All this is what we're talking about with the Crown Chakra, and it's kind
of like a
magical
quilt, isn't it? A quilt with all these things that we've talked about today, all these little tools we're giving you for the toolkit. They're all bits of your quilt. Now, if you're going to stitch that together, let's do it with love. I mean, the stitching is the love and the interconnectedness and the universal energy that we're sharing. So we're on the same platform. But don't forget, at the same time, when you're with your pineal gland and stuff like that, it's really key to look at the stuff that you eat and the stuff that you drink. So from a science and nutrition point of view, it's very key that to be your own research project, as I've already said, but it's key that you also look at things that are happening with the chemtrails in the skies and the fluoride. I mean, some things you need to research about fluoride in water, because that's why we're very big on drinking water that's not got a fluoride base, because it actually blocks your pineal gland, and that's about enlightenment and connecting to higher levels. And seriously,
it is, and it's a
heavy research project.
Yep. And take responsibility for it, and be an informed consumer. A lot of it, we make a lot of choices and we're not fully informed of the options, and we just default setting to the prevailing orthodoxy, which is often marketing, or it's just convenient for corporate gain.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not making it too political, but life is so political on so many subconscious levels. It's not political in the sense of voting at the ballot box, but it's what you do with your dollar and your time is a political choice. And what you buy with your food, and food is your medicine, your food choices are a lot of votes for life and death of people, of animals, of their life and death votes. Okay, every dollar you spend is a life and death vote. When you're voting for fast fashion, you're supporting a business in a sweatshop country, and that is supporting a girl to start work at 8 years old who has to have an abortion. Like, you know what I mean? It can all flow on from that, and that's a life and death decision you've made unconsciously. So being informed and taking a responsibility, but also, not getting too bogged down in the sort of the horrible reality, I guess, but being aware of it, that it does exist and it is out there, and you do have an impact. You're not just a little consumer in sort of middle class land making no impact. Your spend on food alone each year is in the tens of thousands, and that does make or break businesses, your decisions and your choices. So you do have agency. And that's the idea from talking about the whole universe and the interconnectedness, is the idea of agency. It's so important to know that you make a difference. You do. Your thoughts, your actions become things, become ways of life, become beliefs. And even just an offhand comment in the lunchroom to another co-worker can influence his or her choice positively or negatively, okay? To be helpful or unhelpful. And that's where we're trying to drive change on a personal level and be responsible for it.
Yeah, so I think a key thing to do with this chakra is to remember it links to enlightenment. So whatever that means for you. I mean, we could spend a few more weeks doing these videos and explaining what that means to us. But it's not about us. It's about your concept of what enlightenment means, the journey that you're on. Being mindful is key to what we're doing. And understanding, if you don't know how you're getting you on your track to enlightenment, then you need to start thinking about that and start asking the questions. Am I being of service to others? Am I walking in empathy with others? Am I holding space? We've talked about that word a lot, with others. I know in myself the truth that it's my story, my journey. I know my truth is not your truth, and your truth is not my truth. But in universal love and connection, we are interwoven as energy.
And it's really simple,
it's
isn't
awareness.
it? To go, you can reach into all those depths and all the overwhelm and the confusion. But then as we step back and exhale, we go, it is just a oneness, and that it's tied up with love and forgiveness and acceptance and self-acceptance and forgiving yourself and forgiving others. And all those exchanges start to break down and fall like dominoes, going, and there you go. And it's a nice warm feeling of just general acceptance. It really is. And
you're no longer labeled. You're no longer willing to label people because you don't want to be labeled. You're not your degrees. I'm not the degrees I've got on my wall or my ego. It's not.
They're
it's
blockages
not who we
more
are.
than anything.
They are.
Yeah.
It's a blockage. And when we break it down, we go back to Bob Marley with his one love. The idea is it's one love, and that's key. It's not. You are not your ego, and your identification is not your job, your house, or your car, or your kids. It's you are more than that. And this interconnected stuff we're talking about is who we are. It's our divine intelligence.
The questions I like to leave you with at this stage is to say, what am I doing to sort of achieve, or what am I doing to move towards a sense of completeness? Or what work do I need to do? What's in front of me? What am I not confronting, not approaching out of fear or out of a low self-worth or out of a sense of inadequacy? And what can I do to actually take steps towards that? And that's a big part of the life coaching approach, is to say, is the reality of being the best version of yourself and living like living it dialed up at the full level of meaningfulness and satisfaction, instead of retreating and living that safe, instead of, I like to always...
life, I called it.
Yeah, or just, I like to say, instead of going out on the weekend and just buying different coloured cushions to make your place more cosy and comfortable and cushioning your whole little house, so it's all a little cushioned place and so it's like a little sanctuary. Instead of doing that, what are you doing to live full out and playing full out to be the version of yourself that you've been gifted this opportunity to share with everyone? Why aren't you sharing it? And why not? What's holding you back? What fear of releasing that, and whose comment or whose disapproval has crushed you and got you into that state? Because it can be just a trigger from years ago, a careless comment you've heard, and it's really sort of stunted your growth. And let's
break that down.
Yeah, and open it up and bring that back to life. That's what Katrina and I offer in our individual businesses, that percentage to open up and sort of
heal.
Just begin, opening it up and start working through there, and just to have a peek through. And it can be as slow or as a rapid process as you prefer, but it's that idea of opening up and exploring what might potentially be there. And it's based massively on positivity, motivation, joy, enthusiasm, confidence, and lifting, like genuinely lifting you and showing you that there is more, or there is an opportunity, not from a sense of greed or hoarding or more. It's more that there's an opportunity to be of more service to everyone in your life, be more of a giving, a joyful person to be around, for example. For me, I like to say with my clients, it's about launching and discovering and experiencing. Okay, those three words. Launching, like to come out of your shell and say, okay, I'm going to take on a new project and actually launch into it. Then discovering the ways to do it, the methods, the process, the actual strategies, the toolbox, as Katrina uses that word. And then the experience is to go, okay, it's going to have ups and downs, and it's a journey, it's a ride, but I'm still going to do it. I'm not going to have my first setback and then retire or retreat or quit. I'm going to go, okay, there's a setback, here we go, I expected that. And just to go for the ride and know that there's no end point, there's no milestone, there's no gold medal at the end. This is just a journey, okay? And that's what brings me to life and brings me joy, and that's what I'm encouraging you to do, and get in contact with me and Katrina and make that connection with us. We need the positive reinforcement regularly, because in life there's such a bombardment of, car crashes and wars and
chaos
ships are
theory.
sinking. That keeps coming in, and it means if you just turn on the news at night, you go, and it gets you down. It just rubs. It's like eroding you down and it gets to you. So you do need a positive top up on the other side, and I'm not sure where you're getting it from. If you're heavily invested in like watching sport or watching drama or being a spectator in life, it can be really one-sided. All your energy's going out, and the only energy coming in is negative, and then you put it straight out into being a spectator. What if we could offer you today, now, the opportunity to have maybe sort of set aside or sidestep all that negative energy or dial it away, and actually just embrace the positive potential energy, and then where you direct your energy instead of into being a spectator and to becoming a participant and an agent of change for your own life. That's when things just start going amazing. Amazing
we really
changes.
Want to get with you and in an empathetic way and walk beside you and share your journey with you. And like even from a health and wellness perspective, my aim too was to connect us to our human spirits, and that means that, same as what we're talking about here, the interconnectedness. And for us both, we're both coaching, and I add the energy healing to my practice, because for me that's key as well, breaking down those old karmic things, those contracts and things that have happened to us that we don't even understand or
even
know about.
Generational
Stuff that needs to be cut off and dealt with. And that's why we talk about this whole process is about whole wellness. So that's body, mind and soul, and that's also my essential core business, the same as Bren's been talking about. We're both really high into connecting with the whole body experience. So listening to your whole body. So if you take something from today, always remember prayer, meditation, good food, good water, key things, crystals, whatever tools in the toolkit.
And trusting your intuition.
Yes, believe in yourself.
Knowing there's more. Your body and your mind and your spirit communicates with you more than just through your thoughts.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really helpful to actually turn your thoughts off through meditation and get used to doing that, so you can allow the intuitive responses
to come out,
to emerge, to whisper to you, and you go, there it is, and it can be a total breakthrough to have that and go, and that rising self-awareness. And we're not sort of promising enlightenment at the end of the tunnel. More the sense of just even getting 1% more enlightened can be a breakthrough. It can be enough of a lifetime breakthrough for this lifetime to go 1% more enlightened, or even this month or this year or whatever stage you're at. It's just about growth, not stagnancy or waiting or defeat or giving up. There's so much out there, and we've experienced it ourselves with different trainings and different people, and the energy of the space is just it's the meaning of life, really. So that's the universe, connecting with the universe, and it's connecting with us as well. My name's Bren Murphy.
Katrina Wisbey, Essential Core.
Thank you for being here enjoying this course with us. It's been a pleasure to put together.
We've had a great time.
It's been amazing.
Thank you, and we hope that you'll catch one of us in the future.
Excellent. You can see all the links after this video, and there's lots of out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.